What's happening, people? Welcome into All You Can Eat Warriors. And I mean, All You Can Eat Warriors. We got a buffet of food, of topics tonight. And I got my main man here, as always. Ash, brother, how are you doing? How you been?
Good, my bro. Good, my bro. It's getting it's still nippy over here in Australia. I know you don't want to hear an Aussie talking about the cold because we know what New Zealand's like over there, bro. But you know, it's raining, it's cold, bro. Like, bring back summertime. Bring back summertime. But excited to talk about the footy with you, bro, and talk about the Warriors. We all love the Warriors, baby. And it's good to see us back on the winning track.
Absolutely. It's a good feeling. It's always a nice feeling to get a dub. And especially over the Broncos. I mean, I got so many cousins that are Broncos fans. It's just nice to get one over them, you know. So
Yeah.
and how's your old man, Broncos fan? Did he take that well?
Brother, so it legit came just as, like, you know, I finished up the stream, walked out there, and, like, you know, Dad was pulling up in the car, walked outside and went, "You checked the score yet?" Yeah, it was a good fun night, man. Bragging rights is always good, bro.
Yeah, love it. Hey, big up everyone in the chat. We see you guys in there, and a lot of you talking about Vegas. Yeah, we're gonna hit that pretty quickly. But if you guys are in here, please give us a like and subscribe for the first time. And everyone in on Instagram, I bring some people in over Instagram. Come over here to Wise Up TV on YouTube, where you can join the chat and check in with us, and we'll answer your questions, guys. Again, if you do have a question, hit us with a cube. We'll start. We'll get some time to answer those questions. Otherwise, we'll leave you guys to sort it out among yourselves in the chat. You guys can figure it out. But we'll have some fun, everyone. Look, man, let's get straight into it. Warriors to Vegas, 2025. That's the word from Michael Burgess. And Michael Burgess, for me, is pretty solid. NZ Herald writer. I trust most of what he usually puts out there, and he's pretty sure in what he does. I think it's confirmed, man. What's your thoughts on it?
Viva Wa Vegas. I see everyone put it up in there. That's fucking awesome, bro. Awesome, bro. Like, honestly, I think, like, at the moment it might be take my money, like, you know, book off a little bit extra, you know, from work and stuff earlier on in the year, go over to Vegas, watch the boys out there just absolutely kill it on American soil. That'd be really good. And Fisher Harris will be traveling with us over there. It'll be the first sort of game that Fisher Harris plays for us. So if we go one-on-one against the Panthers for the first game, that'll be a blockbuster, bro, because a lot of chat is the Panthers will probably join us over there. But what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, I love it. I'm looking for donors as well, man. Anyone got a free ticket? I'll join you. I'll meet you at the airport, man. I'll just rock up there with my bag. A raw dog. Have you heard that, Tim? A raw dog?
A raw doggy, yeah.
A raw dog, bro. I'll just raw dog in that plane for you guys.
Oh, bro, we got to get our super chats back up and pumping, huh? We got to get those up and going.
We're going to get Patreon. We're going to get OnlyFans.
GoFundMe.
We're going all of those OnlyFans sites, bro. Whatever you need, bro. The next 6 months, I'll be at your service, at your whim, bro. But no, man, it's exciting to get our brand global. You know, I mean, I think you think about it. Hopefully, this Vegas thing builds, and so the next group that are going, obviously next year, they'll have even more attention, and so the impact will be greater. And hopefully, because of our uniqueness as maybe the only New Zealand team in the comp, you know, obviously a lot of, you know, Kiwis get a lot of love over there from obviously mainly the All Blacks and all those things, but still the Warriors is going global too. You know, you see flags from Glastonbury, you got the Up the Wars. It's like the
Yeah.
random South Sky type vibe, you know, where we're kind of popping up in all these different places. So for me, yeah, man, just get ourselves out there and have some fun, man. You know, and for the club, I mean, I think it's like the first time ever going overseas beyond Australia, I
Mm.
suppose, and that's exciting too, man. But yeah, what's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, bro. It's like, it feel honestly like out of all the teams, and I could be like rosy colored glasses and that, but I just feel like it's just a cool thing to be a Warriors fan right now. Like, it's just, I feel like out of like all the, the clothing that we put out now with like, Dynasty and that, and then we're obviously Brownie's on board too, doing a lot of our style and stuff like that. You got players like Luke Metcalf and all that love their fashion and that. I just feel like we have a little bit of the American vibe too, you know what I mean? Like comparatively to a lot of the Aussie teams that are still, figuring out things, like our social media teams, like number one in the business. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
man.
we are such a cool team and such a really presentable team to the masses out there. And I think a lot of people will get on board. And, shout out to the morning shift and all that, going over to, where'd they go? Went to see T-Pain, and they got T-Pain in
Yeah,
a Warriors jersey. So,
Wisconsin,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, bro. Like our jerseys, I feel are like the coolest jerseys in the business too. So when it's
Pretty
cool to
swift,
wear
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. It's similar to like, American jerseys are always cool to wear. Like, I feel like we have the same vibe. So I think we can make a good little hit over there in Vegas. I think it's going to be really, really fun.
You reckon you'll make it over? I'm pretty much saying I can't make it right now. I don't want to build up myself unless someone really does come through with a ticket. But no, what you got a thought? Would you make it over there, Ash? Or
I will try my hardest. Money wise, it's going to be tight in that, but I'm sure that we'll find a way. Life will find a way. I won't nail it down, but life will find a way.
yeah. Otherwise, join us here for the watch along. And yes, you see a watch along come up, guys, then you know I'm not going. So I'll be joining from afar. But oh man, it's massive, bro. And yeah, like we saw what Vegas held this year. For those teams, I think it's gonna
Mm,
grow, bro. I think it's definitely gonna grow. So
I agree.
um, but love it, man. Love it. Let's hit this next topic, man. What a great bit of news as well for the NRLW. Ronald Griffiths has signed on to run the NRLW team from 2025. Two-time
Mm,
premiership winning coach Ronald Griffiths has been secured on a 3-year deal to lead the One New Zealand Warriors back into the NRLW. And just a quick quote here from Cam George. It was critical to appoint the best possible coach for this role, and we've been able to do that. Ron has terrific coaching pedigree and will add tremendous value to our club as we make our way back into the NRLW. Man, what's your thoughts on that little bit of signing?
yeah, possibly signing the one of, if not the best women's coach in the business. You know what I mean? Back to back premierships with the Knights over there. Even like the Indigenous All Star side, like he's had really
Yes.
good success with those girls there too. But like I think the biggest part of this as well is also attraction to signing girls back over to New Zealand. If we got one of the best coaches in the business that has a lot of pull in the game, a lot of girls may find their way over in New Zealand just to play for him. You know what I mean? It may not be all just New Zealand girls. It could be some other girls that just want to get shine and show that they have the talent. And just hearing from around, the media around NRLW and that, a lot of great talent is coming from New Zealand. So it's a great market to put a really good coach in there, put a really good system. And for, now the second time they're trying to do it with the Warriors. Before COVID, they tried there during COVID, but this time hopefully it'll be more successful and yeah, just breed like a whole new development system that can bring all these Kiwi girls into something like that. And a couple of big names they should be shooting for, like Woodman that plays for the Kiwi Sevens and that.
Yeah.
I believe that we should be targeting her if she wants to run out, because a lot of the Sevens girls go really well in the NRLW. Obviously, I know with Varney and that. But even like, Sonny Bill Williams' sister or something like that, bro, just start charging like, bang, I want you. Yeah, I reckon having a coach like him opens up windows for that. So I think that's a great signing for us for our future there. 3 years, that's really, really good.
Yeah, I think as well is that he's got to really hit the ground running. I mean, I just saw Anissa Biddle, who plays for the Sharks. She just got signed up. I
Mm,
think Melly and a few other the Kiwi girls at least have been signed up long term. I think it's
yep.
really becoming a kind of everyone's getting quick to sign their players up So Griffiths, obviously with the support of Kepi and the club, but interested to see how he hit the ground running. Do you think he could pull a few of those Newcastle girls over? I'm thinking, yeah. Do you think any of those girls might shoot over? I mean, they've got some really
Just
good players here.
they do, and I'm sure they have a couple of really nice Kiwi girls. From memory, did they have Stacey Jones's niece? From memory, I can't
Oh,
remember her name, but she's an absolute freak. She could play in the halves, play edge back row. I'm pretty sure she played for the Kiwis in the Pacific Championship games. But yeah, 100%. I believe that he could have the pull to bring a couple of these girls over, a couple of more talented girls that they have there at the Newcastle Knights. But hopefully swindle a couple of the contracts of like, a Georgia Hale. Like that's a bit, yeah, as Ricky just pointed out there. Georgia Hale is a big one that I was like, get her now. Like she's the perfect captain for the squad. I know she's locked up in that, but I reckon she'd be amazing. And a big Warriors fan too. So that would be really, really cool to see.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I think obviously got a lot of work to do. Great for the club. So pumped that we're getting a quality coach.
Mm,
Almost still in his prime years. It's not like he. And the article was talking about he kind of built Newcastle up from the bottom as well. So
yep.
they've hired a guy that's been through this process, wants to do it again with us, and it's exciting. Just and for me, that's a great club signing, a great addition in a different part of the whole total club. Obviously, the main focus is the first grade, but to see it in the women's get such a high, that's like getting a what would you say, a Bellamy or a Bennett or something of that equivalent.
Yep. It's
And
definitely
that,
up there at the moment, bro. He's like, one of the best. As I said, back-to-back premierships with the Newcastle Knights. Like, that's massive in itself. And he's just got a massive name in the game. So to get legit, possibly one of, if not the best coach in the business, is a massive scout for the Warriors, because the doggies could have been chasing that as well, and we end up getting them off the table. So that's massive news. Massive news for us.
yeah, and a little good shout here from Jed. I remember Caitlin saying, Vaha Kolo saying, morning shift last, she'd love to play for the Warriors. I'm definitely sure there'll be a lot of girls that would come back and play. Um,
Mm,
and so it's just, yeah, I keep an eye out for it. Melly, for one, is mine. I'm not sure if she signed up long term with
yeah.
Broncos, but it's a shame, But yeah, hey, we might, we got to get into that again, that cycle of developing players. And I
Yep.
suppose a lot of groundwork going in place to try and, how we do that. We'll have to figure it
Mm,
out. Probably you'll go into the market and try and get as many as possible.
yep.
Typically our Kiwi girls, but there's going to be a lot of work to develop some of our local talent, which will be great as well. And I'm interested actually how they build that, because I wonder if they would send them over. Would they send them over to Tasha Gale Cup, or is that just too far a reach to do something like that?
Oh, I'd
Just
say,
based on the
oh,
talent, that the way the ARL and the NZRL run their, it's not professional enough to give these girls, the skills. Do you think puts the money in to send these girls over, or is that competition a little bit too short and not too professional at the moment? What's your thoughts?
you got the BMD competition in Queensland, and then Tasha Gale. So there's a couple of options there. Hopefully, it gets to one day where we have our own like sort of like feeders, like a little competition going on. And I think that's a big trouble with the game, because the New South Wales girls actually don't get a lot of time before the Origin camp to really kick off. That's why a lot of them actually been playing the BMD comps with Varney and all those girls play a lot of those girls there. So yeah, that's definitely the big hurdle for them, is all the things that come underneath, and during the offseason, like who they're going to be playing for in between there. But I'm sure that Robbo looks like he's willing to make anything work. He's done it with us currently right now, so I'm sure that he'll put a lot of money and funding into this to make it work, because I think that we could have some of the best girls in the business, in my opinion. Like some of the talent we have out there, like just judging on names, it is Stacey Jones's, I'm guessing it's niece. I'm sure it's her niece or whatever. LaShawn Albert Jones. She's a second row lock. She's from the Knights. Tanya Davis from the Knights. So there's a couple of Knights Kiwi girls here that he could easily pull over. And then hopefully another really big signing from another one of these girls that hopefully are off contract. So it'd be really, really cool to see for the future.
Mean. Bro, yeah, just exciting, and great bit of news there. Okay, let's get into a little bit of the team list, but just quickly, anything on the Broncos you've had thoughts about to add? I've said my piece. I thought it was a great game,
Mm.
and a good dominant win. But anything else for you, Ash, before we move into team list?
Nothing too massive, bro. Like, again, just to feed off top of that, like, yeah, very nice, dominant win. I know, like, everyone's going to bring up, the Broncos B squad, all that sort of stuff, but we beat the team that we had out there on paper. We came off a 60-point drumming with the Titans. But also to add on with that too, we've just seen a team that's run with a solely 7, with a solely 6, like, a proper 7 and 6 combination instead of just a makeshift Tamati Martin and Sean Johnson, two ball dominant halfbacks going together. And when we see in a combination that's properly like that, we've had more success than not this season.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's a couple of stats we'll tie in a little bit later on where I can see us doing really well, and how our average is with Tamati Martin is at 7, which, like, I'm really excited for the future because, we've shown success within little periods there. We've had 4 games now, Tamati at number 7 with Chanel at number 6, and they've all been very, very positive. The one game that Chancey played 6 with the Panthers still was very, very nice. So, overall, very happy with the performance. Good to see a lot of key players step up in that one. Adam Fanor-Blake had a good game, effort-wise, like all that. But again, we just want to see these guys when everything comes against them and where they can pull it out of the fire. I think that's the biggest thing we're waiting for as Warriors fans this season is a really close one-on-one game. We might get it this weekend where it might be come down to in the last inch. If we can get over the top of those sides, I think that's what we want to see and get the confidence of that for the rest of the season.
Beautiful, man. Love it. You bang on there. It's just about building these combinations, and it's an unchanged squad. CNK at the back, Dylan and Marcelo on your wings, Roger right center still, and Pompey your left center with Chanel and Tamaide in the halves there. AFB, Mr. June 30, no longer June 30. He's passed and met the requirements. Maybe they were listening to us, bro. Maybe
He's
they
stuck with us now.
Not going back. Maybe we put a bit of heat on, and you never know. Hey, we'll never know. But anyway, hopefully it's motivated him. Wade Egan at hooker, Mitch Barnett, Marata Nukore, and on the right side, and Curdy Capewell on the left, which is cool to see. Tohu listed as lock again as captain. Webby was he just chucking out the same team list as he just doesn't want
pretty much.
We all know what's going to happen, people, but he's there technically at 13. And then your bench is Freddie Lussick, Dills, Walker, Jazz Tavanga, and Jackson Ford, bro. How you feeling about, I suppose, the same squad as last week? You feel as though that's a good sign that kind of everything's kind of where they need to be health-wise, combinations-wise. Is this the team for you moving forward, most likely?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, pretty much. I would say you'd think that this is our probably first or maybe even second time this season we've run with the exact same team list for 2 weeks in a row. I think there was, even periods there where people were saying that we were unchanged. We were fairly changed, like a lot of injuries, forced change, a lot of things that maybe was moving in pieces and stuff like that with Jackson Ford, multiple places, so many different little areas and that. It's good to see back-to-back weeks. We get a very similar team list out there. We all know it's going to happen with Dylan Walker. I don't know why a lot of people would be complaining with it. He's going to be starting. Tohu Harris will be coming off the bench. I don't know whether it's a team list thing of like our captain is there, you know what I mean? Like put him in at 13, but we're going to switch him off the bench anyway to make him feel like he's a starting player, you know what I mean? But overall, I saw like, obviously, it wasn't a perfect performance, and we haven't got a perfect lineup here, but it's probably the best lineup that we've had in the last couple of weeks where everyone seems to be healthy and ready to go. Just to go out there and put a really good performance and build combinations. So Tomato Martin, Shania Stavida, great combination already. Roger being back on the right side. It'd be interesting when Barry comes back to see what a lot of people's thoughts are there. But, Roger, I thought did a really good job over the weekend on the right side there too. Other than that, Kurt Capewell, he predominantly a left side player. We've started to figure that out. We spoke in the backstage. It looks like he's a left side player. He played with the Broncos there. He even played with the Panthers there. So we probably could have looked at putting him there earlier on the season. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Freddie Lussick in the 14 again. I thought he had a decent little stint there at the end of the game, scoring a try. Nice little behind play there with Mitch Barnett. So I see good signs, bro. What's your thoughts? Would you change anything here for the future?
No, I like the balance of it. I think it's for me, the squad is where it needs to be. I mentioned previously about that's probably the best forward pack, and I like the push of Mitch into the middle. I
I
think
love it. Yeah.
every part of that squad is really solid, especially defensively and on attack. I saw a lot of our carries off of kickoffs is
Mhm.
really really good. I mean, I think the boys play with a lot more intent
Yeah.
and character, and they obviously understand that that wasn't up to standard what happened to the Titans. And I think Mitch probably came in and all those guys getting Kate Well out onto their edge, tighten things up.
Yep.
I even think, there's a little bit at play with Ford. Probably he looks a bit tired. He's looked a
Yeah.
bit labored the last couple of things, so it's probably good idea to keep him on the bench for a little while.
Yep.
Um, and in saying that, Freddie Lussick, I thought it's great. I think the team just looks a lot stronger defensively. Like you even feel when Lussick comes on, he looks really kind of solid defensively.
Yep.
Um, and so for me, and we talked about this off stage. That performance for me was close to one of our best because it was so dominant and strong. And I know
Yeah.
people were saying that, we let in 3 tries or whatever, but I think we still were in control based on
For the
what
whole
our
game.
forwards were able to do that game and to be strong and dominant. And
Yep.
even if it's a B or C team, doesn't matter. You still got to mentally check in and put these guys away. And I think we did that. So,
Mm.
yeah, I think that's I'm really, really I think that's the on balance the team you want to go for. I think there could be an idea to put Bunty in for Tohu, but I feel as though Tohu and Walker are the only real ball playing locks. And we've talked
Yeah.
about our system being so centric around that lock play. So you
Yep.
can't, even though Tohu, it's great to see him have limited minutes, and some might say, you need 2 ball playing locks at the moment. And so I think that's the right call. And then Ford gives you just a bit more back row cover as well. He can play middle, he can play back row. So I think based on balance, for me, that's the squad moving forward for
Yeah.
sure. Until other guys come back from injury, then you start to look at other things. So yeah, man.
Very much agreed, bro.
Yeah. Just I'm excited again just to see Tamati CHT. Roger a bit more time. Would like to see him link up with Dallin a bit more in some type of set plays, but his yardage work's been good. Defensively, really sound as well. He's got good recovery time as well. If you saw the try that Mam nearly scored, he was able to get back in time. Even though he
Mhm.
kind of got beat on the outside, his recovery time was pretty good. So I think all
Yep.
those things weighing them up, and I think he's doing a pretty good job. So
Mm.
yeah, that's all I can say on the squad. And also just a quick one is I think it's Leatoa is back in the mix now from his injury. I
Yeah.
saw him in the wider squad, which is great. Um, Great to
Well, that's the
see
one
him
thing
in
I
there.
did want to talk about too, bro. Like, with that team looking the way it is, like we still have a lot of boys that maybe need to, well, we'll come back to the cup and that, but our cup lineup here, we got Tane Chiopiki at fullback, Setu Tu, Ali Leatoa, Graham Talfa, and Ed Gossi's our back line. Like, that's a really solid back line for cup. Our halves, Ben Farr, Luke Hanson, been great. Our front row pairing, Sifakula and Bunty Afoa. That's a great front row pairing for cup. And then our edge back rowers are Jacob Laban, Lekahau Lasima, and Kalani Going. And then we have Tanisdale Smith on the bench, like who's like another really high promising prop that we have, come up for the grade. So that like the strength that we have in this top squad here, the stuff that we have to push down has just strengthened our New South Wales Cup squad to be really, really strong. And, so good to see some of these players I'm really looking out for. And, another name that consistently getting his name put in these reserve squad, Lekau Lasima, who's someone that I just can't wait to see around about the traps in the next couple of years. But yeah, Bunty Afoa, Ali Letai, good to see him back off injury. Ali, hopefully goes kills it over the weekend. That cup side that looks very strong against a strong Bulldogs cup side as well.
Yeah, no, it does. I'll just quickly hear while it's there. Your thoughts on the New South Wales Cup boys game on the Saturday? Did you catch much of that, Ash? How
Yeah,
was
bro.
it?
Yeah, I watched the full game. Yeah,
Yep.
very, very like a lot of errors due to the rain and stuff like that, but fairly dominant for us for majority of that game. Tane Chiopiki just tearing it up back through the middle. He loves that right foot jig back through the middle. Looked incredible. Like players like Lekgar Lasima, like I can't wait to see those boys, get up there. But Yeah, obviously the big chat is about Corey Horsburgh, Big Red throwing a couple on Jacob Laban copping him and then getting sent off for it. That was a big one.
Man.
But yeah, that and Tommy
I thought,
Ale.
I
So
thought he didn't get sent off for no retaliation. Is that taunting? Was he taunting or something? What was he?
Well, I've heard a rumor
that's a typical Islander thing, just to laugh back at the
just a
person
laugh.
that's shout out to Mark Hunt and who was Ray Siffel. I think that's the K1 days where they're just smacking each other and they're smiling at each other. Bro. That reminded me exactly of those K1 days, bro. But
Well,
yeah.
apparently you can't headbutt fists, bro. That's what I mean. So that's striking back on Laban. Just stop headbutting fists. Yeah, no, man, like it was a great game. Like it was a really solid effort from the boys. The Raiders had to really dig into the trenches to bring that one back. As I mean, like the dark arts, they really made it a contest of like, testing the referee, which brought us down a little bit and end up being, they brought it back with that, the sending off and stuff like that. But overall, fairly dominant performance from our Cup boys that look incredible out there. So I haven't seen what Tom Ale has gotten time over that. Obviously, Obviously, Big Red would have got time for throwing punches, but Tom Ale, I'm pretty sure, took a swipe at him too, so he might be sitting on a sideline for a little bit. But yeah, really good performance.
He's got a big jaw on him, Tommy. He could take the whack, I reckon.
It's good to see him run in for the boy, you know what I mean? So, like out of all the Cup teams out there, like I wouldn't be wanting to scrap on with our Cup team. You got like Sifakula, you got like Alasima, like all those boys are just like, yeah, they look like they could run amok. So, bring it on. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Love it. Okay, my man. Let's get into I want to just talk quickly about the Dogs and how they've been going and what your thoughts have been on them. And obviously Webster and Serraldo, round 3 technically for both of them. We got the double on them last year, and now we're coming up against a different looking squad and a much more, experience, a bit more year under a Serraldo system. And what's your thoughts, bro, so far on the Dogs and how they've been tracking, and I suppose what to look out for, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, bro, like really, really tough squad. They defend hard, they play hard, and there's a couple of stats that show that. So, running through this, they score about 21 points per game on overall average. The last 3 games, they're a bit down on that average with 15 points per game. So would love to see, they'll love to see that to click that back into gear. Defensively, they've hung around under that 20-point mark, which is perfect. They're the second best team point per game on average, but they're actually the best team for limiting tries this season too. So that's a really big stat for them too. So they are unreal there. So they concede the least line breaks in the competition as well, which is another thing as well. And, that we are one of the worst teams for conceding line breaks at 5.6 per game. The one positive to that too, I would say that we have actually gotten a lot better with that, with Tomato Martin as at number 7 in that lineup. I've took those 4-game average where we've played really well. We've dropped that quite significantly to 4.5 per game, which is actually the 6th best in the competition if we are around that mark. So that's really good signs for us. But again, the Doggies, you can just see on paper, they defend hard. They don't allow any cheap things. What I would say, though, is they get into grindy contests, as in giving away penalties. They are the 2nd worst team for giving away penalties in the competition. And then they are the 3rd most for getting them. So what that shows to me is they're a team that loves to live and die by a grindy contest. They'll hold you down. They'll test the referee. But on the other end, they'll try and choke you out, and they'll try and get up and test the referee their way too. So it's going to be a really grindy contest both ways. Run meter wise, we absolutely dominate them, but they are the best team, in a 2nd best or the best team in the competition for limiting run meters this season too. So I feel like it's going to be a very 50-50 game. If I'm going to look at it too, bro, I'll put it out there. This was a surprising one. They concede 54% of their tries down their right defensive edge. Do you know who that one, like, you got Sexton, Salmon, Critter, and Karaz down their right edge. So Critter's on that right edge. They actually concede more tries on their right edge comparatively to their left edge. I thought that's a mental stat.
Interesting. Yeah.
But what I've pointed it down to is something I pointed out in the State of Origin stream, that Critter is an amazing defender. I'm not questioning Critter as a defensive center at all. but he has a tendency, and the tendency is from a Penrith system and judging by all the other systems, is he likes to defend inside a lot. He will defend in and then bounce late. You've seen it from even our system, Adam Pompey. You've seen it a lot. It's a very similar system. He loves to defend in, then bounce out late. Critter does that. He usually can control that. Like, get out there early, grass cutting tackle, makes it work. But the big tendency that he has is if, edge back row is running tram line, he ends up being in that marker. So he overworks himself defensively on that edge, which catches him out. A couple of series ago when we had KP at fullback, Billy Slater was just ironing him out on that side. Was it not even Billy Slater? I think it was from years previous to that. We'd have Critter getting pushed into the marker and then play a short side set off that side, make Critter overwork on that side. So we can make that and we can do that to effectiveness. But the three things I've noticed too, and it shows that the system is exactly the same as the Panthers and our system, very similar because the Panthers head coaches and that, they concede the least amount of their tries through the middle. It's the same with us, and it's the same with the Panthers. And we are the three best teams in the competition for limiting out of our overall average in the competition through the middle. So it shows that our defensive systems always are defending in first and then pushing out. And usually our wingers are cutting in and trying to cut down time. So it's an umbrella type of defense. I thought that's a really interesting thing to point out is we're going to be attacking that right side, try to hit that as hard as you can. We can't be going through the middle like usual. They're going to really eat that up. But our left side attack that has been humming at the moment, I feel like they're going to have a really good day.
Yeah, man. I watched a bit of the Dogs tape against the Sharks, and they're a patient team. I think if I look at their record too, they've got some good scalps on them. They've done a number on a few teams, good quality teams. They've had some close type matches. I saw the one with Melbourne and Penrith. They're a team that's very disciplined. And you can see that from their play style. And defensively, I think they're very much like a bend but don't break defense. I saw that they have a lot of tackle breaks put on them, but at the same time, they're very solid. So you can tell that the principles that Serrato's implemented is really paying off for them, and the patience that they have to trust in that system. Similar to us, we've had a complete overhaul of how we play, and no doubt they've brought that from their Penrith. Their studies under Ivan and what they brought. But yeah, it's almost like a mirror match. If you're thinking in terms of it's almost like I said, Ken versus Ryu when we played the Panthers.
It really is
very similar style. If you watch their carries out of yardage, I think for me the big one will be the kicking game. The good thing for us is that we do have that run meter average quite high, so we do get into good spots to get good kicks. But Burton will be sending them back, no doubt, and it'll be that battle. I think it'll be a real grind fest. You feeling that way too? It's kind of a more of a grinded out game and see who breaks first. I feel like it's honestly going to come back to errors and big errors. For me, I'm a little bit worried about our back five in terms of just drop balls, diffusing kicks, all those little areas that could be the area that we get unstuck. And then they're quite patient in their attack to eventually get over the line. So it's one of those games. I think it'll be a tight one, but it'll be who will break first, and that's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be an enjoyable game, play style wise. I think it'll be a fun watch for me. Yeah.
And what points that out too, bro, is like, they, as I said before, like they have the 12th best attack in the league. So they're not a great attacking side. We're right there with them, bro. Like, so both sides aren't based on attack. We're both sides that are very based on possession-based football and defensive football. So looking at the stats here, it all shows that exact same thing. Like, we actually score more points on average comparatively than the Bulldogs currently. But they are the better defensive side. And then talking about errors, they are the 7th worst team in the competition right now for errors at 10.4 per game. And we're still the 2nd best side with 9.1. So even in our worst games, we still don't concede a ton of errors. It's a lot of the errors that we do concede is usually under worse positions, but we also need to defend those errors. So if we can get back to what we did a lot, like every week that we've had this similar lineup with Tomato Martin and Chanel Harris-DeVito at 7 and 6, the forward pack playing very dominant and just wanting to play for the contest and no back foot step. You know, we've seen the Raiders give it to the doggies and stay in a contest, and like with the errors the doggies sometimes have, we
Yeah.
can see that we can take it out. Like you watch the Parramatta Eels game as well. There's a little bit of errors sometimes in those games that put the doggies behind, and they try to grind their way back into a football game. I can see us doing very similar things too. So we just got to strike when the iron's hot, when we got a little bit of time down their end, and try and make it happen. But it's going to be easier said than done because, as I said before, they are the best team for limiting tries in the competition. So, and as I said before, we're not the most amazing attacking outfit out there. We're getting better at it, but we're still not the most amazing attacking outfit.
Yeah. Let's just go by skill units. So let's do back five. Just an overall. I mean, how are you feeling about how they play and how we play as a back five? Who will have the bigger night, or who's stronger from your view of in terms of yardage, and then you add in the other part, which is more like finishing and all of that speed, strength. Where do you sit on that in terms of just the unit? And we'll get into combined 17, but the overall
Yeah.
unit of that back five. What's your thoughts on them?
But majoritively, they like to, when they have Matty Burton, Bronson Sherry, and like they had Fox outside, but when you got Viliami Kikau, that edge back row on that side, they love to attack that left side shift. Bronson Sherry loves to go outside on centers. He doesn't like to jump back inside a lot. So he likes to use his speed on the outside, as he's still got somewhat since the Sharkies days back then. So he's still got a little bit of speed behind him. So RTS is going to have to do a lot of big jobs there of, if he's going to shape him on the outside, make sure Dal is knowing when he gets on the outside man not to cut in on him, because Sherry's really good at shifting out early. Unless Dal is good enough to cut that space off in time and really push that error, and that's what our defensive system is supposed to do. But again, it's all up to RTS and his communication there, because when you got Viliami Kikau as well, because they do have that very similar set that Dave Fafita used to have with the Titans and the Panthers used to use with the Viliami Kikau, of having Sherry run in and then have like Viliami on the like a center look, basically with a 2-on-1 sort of look. Roger's going to do a lot of work. So, but what I would say to that as well, their attacking system has grown since the Panthers game. I noticed that's when Birdo started to shift both sides of the ruck. And so when they start attacking on that right side, the key man you got to worry about is Connor Tracy, who's back in that lineup. He's got a decent amount of speed on the edge as well, and he absolutely tore the Parramatta Eels edge apart. I would say out of our two edges, defensive edges, Adam Bombay is definitely something that he needs to get up and cover really, really early on Connor Tracy, because that's the key area on their right side shift. Not so much Critter. It's more so Connor Tracy that runs off with Critter, because Critter is such a big target for a lot of teams that everyone watches Critter, but then no one watches what Connor Tracy does out back, and he's got the speed to burn out that edge. So those two ways you could look at things, but I would think that Roger's in for a massive night on that right-hand side comparatively to Bronson Sherry.
I think so too. And Com's got to be on, man. Like, Dallin has those tendencies to come in. And I don't think they got fully tested, obviously, but Coppo still had his day on them last week. So if you can imagine Sherry with Kikau on that edge, who are very solid, RTS and that going to have to be super tight. And so definitely feel that. Halves wise, I mean, Burton is obviously the standout. Toby Sexton, how has he been going so far this season? And how do they compare to our style? I suppose ours, we're kind of getting a feel for Tamati and SCHT that they've got a good balance. Do they have a good balance between them, Sexton and Burton?
Yeah, they're starting to grow it, bro. Sexton's predominantly an old school type of 7. He plays during the middle of the ruck. I feel like Tamate, he plays that role as well, but Tamate is starting to really find himself sniffing around the ruck and running first, that sort of thing. Sexton doesn't really have a run first mentality. He has got a dummy and go on him. He'll test it early, but it's to open up his, he plays so direct, and he'll play a late ball out the back. So he'll really dig really deep into the line. Very similar to if you've seen a lot of really good moments of Josh Schuster. He has a very similar vibe of how deep he gets into a line. He squares up a line really well and pops it back out the back. But the key man is Birdo. Birdo will end up linking up a lot of their players on both sides. So, Birdo is the one that's going to be running out the back and shifting out to Connor Tracy on the right, or he's going to shift on the left-hand side and start up that shift with the Viliami Kikau and stuff like that. So, Sexton and Birdo's going really, really well. They're still a young combination now. And last week against the Sharkies, I don't think Sexton had the greatest game ever. So there's still moments in Sexton that he's still a young halfback, still trying to learn the competition as well. But their connection is growing, and it's probably their best connection that they've got at the club, because I didn't really like Drew Hutchison and Birdo. Sexton and Burden, because Sexton plays so deep and direct in the line, opens up so much holes outside for Matty Burton to play his game, which is run first or, pass late. So that's what we really got to watch out for, those two and the halves.
And looking at that forward pack, and I just go the whole unit from the props right through to the lock. They're a hard-working unit. I think for me, I watched a bit of Max King, Sammy Hughes, the typical hard-working front rowers.
Yeah.
And then you got Kikau and Salmon. I liked a little bit of Bailey Hayward too. He's very quick, sharp.
Very good.
Looks like a good player. But Mahoney, for me, I think he just really gives this team a lot of emphasis. His kicking game. He's got a nice long kicking game out of dummy half. He gets that first receiver too. Sometimes I saw him kind of pop out and set some shape, set some attacks. So he provides a lot. Old Reed. What's your overall thoughts on that pack, and how will they, I suppose, muscle up and combat our boys, who after last week looked pretty solid as well?
Yeah, they're a pack that don't really run for big meters at all, because they're such a small pack. That's the reason why you got someone like an option of a Reed Marnie kicking out a dummy half for 40-20s, that sort of look. And Birdo's so damaging for a side because he has to hoik up that ball to get errors out of their own end. But for a pack, they're such a small pack, hard-working pack. They don't give an inch. But I say the only downside of it is, comparatively to our side, right, their biggest working out of their back end sort of look is, Jacob Carraz, Bronson Sherry, maybe Connor Tracy out in there. But other than that, those boys don't work a lot to get them in a good field position. A lot of their good field position comes from their kicking game. So I would say that we have to limit a lot of Reed Marnie in that, especially with his kicking game and stuff. Put him as far back as possible, which we are able to do, and get him into a grind contest, because that's probably the best that they play their football, is usually off that kicking game. Reed Marnie's really good at getting them a good field position with 40-20 looks, stuff like that. But majority of that is because they're not such a good team of getting out of their own end. They're actually one of the worst teams at getting out of their own end. But yeah, just hardworking defensively. Bailey Hayward, great footy IQ. Sums up everything well. Very similar to a Dylan Walker, smaller body in the middle, plays a lot of the half and that, but got good foot speed and links up both sides really, really well. Jamin Salmon is just a defensive sort of second row out there, just works really, really hard, very similar to what we had in Josh Curran. As we know, we see Josh Curran on the bench and that. I think their strike in their forward pack is Viliami Kikau. And when he's on, he's really hard to handle. But sometimes when he's in behind the contest, you can really find a lot of in-ways on his side too. He misses a ton of tackles. So I really expect us to really start hitting his side as well with Murata Niokore. I'm really excited for that matchup.
Yeah. It's actually, Niokore and Kikau just can't wait for that. And looking at the bench, Kurt Mann, Curran, Curtis Morin, and Lipoi Hopoi. Man, what a name! Great name. Yeah. What's your read on that pack? Is it a smaller pack, or is it quite of a dynamic pack? And what's your read on it? Yeah. How will they impact the Bulldogs? Will they just come on and keep doing the rest, or do they have some really strong, impactful players that can kind of flip a game, or is it more of just maintaining energy throughout?
Yeah, they're very much a small pack. Reed Marnie is a long minute hooker, so he'll probably end up looking at 80. If not, he'll get brought off for the last 10 or something like that. He'll play a full lot of game in the middle. So Kurt Mann could cover him there, but he doesn't usually. Kurt Mann will probably end up covering Bailey Hayward when he comes on. Josh Curran's been playing a lot of front row lately, so see that he's going to pull off Sam Hughes or Max King for minutes. Max King usually plays a lot more of the minutes there too. I think he plays upwards of 60. Curtis Morin, just one of those hard-working sort of... very much like you could put him in the same mold as a Jazzy Tavanga. You know what I mean? Does a lot of work in behind the ruck. He's just not He's not the most biggest body in the world, but he'll work tirelessly for you in the middle. And Hopway is actually a really promising young junior that's actually stepped up a lot lately. And I feel like his cover defense is really, really good in the middle. I've seen that a couple of times in that Sharks game over the weekend, but very limited knowledge over him. I've only seen like little like glimpses of him through first grade, and but he does a job. He's not the biggest forward out there. I say their biggest forwards that they've got is Sam Hughes, who's a big body. Max King's a fairly decent size, not anywhere near to what we have in the middle there too. But everyone else on their bench usually is very small, compact, but get through a ton of work and can play some decent minutes if they have to. And I think that's what Serraldo was swaying for this year for the Doggies.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just think he wants like to maintain momentum and energy and defensive keys. I know Serraldo for me he's got that defensive focus, and from all reports, I think Serraldo was just a defensive genius. I've heard Mace talk about, Serraldo's really big on his defense, whereas I think Webby's more of the attacking mind a little bit more than just, defensive stuff. So it's be interesting. Like, I think this is a great game, man. I think this is like great for both clubs. I mean, we've recruited just a little bit. I mean, Gould's pulled out all the stops to recruit 30 different guys. He retired TPJ knowing he'd come back and got that money, rid of that money, and found other ways. He's got Satili Tupanui. This guy, Gus Gould, bro. I don't know how he's getting all these guys, bro. How is
he's good at it, bro.
He's must done most of the. He's probably done more trades than guys do on fantasy in the last 2 years. He's been a machine in revamping the squad. Quickly on Gus, man. He's done a lot, bro. And he's got Satili coming in too. I can't believe.
If you know Gus, bro, it's why they call him the Gould father. Like he is honestly like he's got so many ties in the game that he offers a lot of people some deals that they can't refuse. There's been notable times in the media like he nearly got Jonathan Thurston to the Panthers at one stage. And a lot of the third party that was going to happen with that is because he's got big ties with Channel 9 and a massive media group there. And so he was saying, like, after the game, I can get you into the door with Channel 9. He ended up doing it anyway, Jonathan Thurston, which ended up being all right for him. But this is the thing, like, Gus Gould, the contracts he can get, but the talk he has, the pull he has for certain players is exactly what he said. He's like the godfather of the NRL. Like, he's very similar to the sort of chat that the Roosters usually have with Bilitis and all that, like, the pull they have. Gus has a very similar sort of vibe with him, but he has a really good track record of like building through juniors, as he saw with the Panthers. And he's doing a very similar thing here with the Bulldogs, where he's not buying a lot of players in certain positions because there's a lot of juniors that are coming up in those positions.
Oh, wow.
But other positions, that he's really finding money there. Like, Satili's going to be a great buy for them. Wherever they look at playing him on an edge or through the middle, I feel like more so through the middle, I think it'd be pretty nice for him. Yeah,
no, they're doing good things over there. I got to respect it, but I wish we could make some moves like how Gussie moves, but it is what it is. Hey guys, we're gonna get into the combined 17. Not sure how many likes there are right now, but if we get minimum 15, there's 100 of you, 114 of you guys, 100 on YouTube. We appreciate the love. If we can get the likes in and hit that subscribe if you're here for the first time, that's cool too. We've got heaps of content coming through. And everyone on YouTube, see you guys in there. But if you want to come over here to Wise Up TV, feel welcome to do so. Let's get into this combined 17, brother. And I'll just bring up if you don't mind, just changing the overlay, and then I'll bring up the format. We didn't get to this last week because we had a massive talk. So it's good to. My wife said to me, "Hey, where's your little template thing that you use?" I said, "Oh, me and Ashwin for 2 hours last. I couldn't be bothered doing all the stuff, but we're back now. We're doing good for time." So here we go. I did a little bit of attacking shape here. I got my lockers that easy to play the ball and the hooker, and then you got your props. And you're just setting your out the backs for your halves. So a little bit of different shape today, but let's get into this, man. We'll start at fullback as usual, and we'll work our way. Look, Connor Tracy versus CNK. How has Connor Tracy been going actually at the Doggies? And I suppose the question is he doing better than CNK at the moment? CNK is getting a lot of heat for missing those 40-20s, but overall I'm feeling like he's doing fine. Yeah, I don't know why, but he's definitely our fullback. I've got no issue. But in terms of him and Tracy, who's wins that out for you?
Yeah, I'll touch on Tracy's been going really good lately, and he's definitely the best option for the doggies at fullback. Like he's so direct as a fullback, run first sort of mentality where they were running with before with Blake Taff. Blake Taff is a lot more sideways, like as a fullback. He likes to be a playmaker, but what I felt like a lot of time with the Dogs when they went out the back, he played so sideways. He cut off so much space from his outside men to really create anything because of a smaller body. People were just taking him out and wasn't really running that well. Where Tracy's a bigger body. I think the best thing with Tracy, you could plug him in at 6, he'll do a job. Plugging him in at center, will do a job. And he just found his way at fullback and it's just worked really, really hard for them. But out of the two fullbacks, I'll take Chance every day of the week. I think Chancey outworks him all the time. Chancey's a fairly bigger body. Like I think Chancey is 100 kilo, like up to like Connor Tracy's a bit taller, but CNK gets through his work, bigger body, does well in contact. I'd take Chancey, bro. Just the work rate out of the back end. I think he's a smarter fullback.
Yeah, same here, man. I think Tracy. I've seen some of his game, and I think still Chance beats him out there. Okay, right wing. I think it's got Dell versus Kiraz. I think because Kiraz out there with Critter on that right side.
Kiraz will be with Bronson. This is tough because they play both sides. So Blake Wilson has played the left where Fox is filled in. So Kiraz will be on the right side of Critter. Yep, that'll be correct.
Kiraz versus Dell. I think for me, I probably sway to Dell. But remember, Kiraz had a monster year last year for yardage. I'm not sure if he's reached those same heights. He has a bit of an error in him from what I've seen, and also Dow has a bit of an error. But I'm just feeling Dell at the moment. But what have you observed of Kiraz? Maybe he's having a better season so far. I'm not too sure.
I'm really, really high on Kiraz. I think he's had the better season so far. His work rate's definitely higher than Dal out of the back end, but I think that's one underrated aspect of Dal. He'll get through his 130 or so, but Kiraz is very much like the Toto mold of getting through the 150s, that sort of look. So out of the finishing ability, I've got Dal every day of the week, but it's 50-50 for me, bro. It's really, really close. Like I think Dal on his day is one of the best wingers in the competition, but it's on his day and where everything goes well. Where Kiraz, I feel like it's more consistent, like 7 to 8 out of 10. It's really tough, bro. Really, really tough.
Should we just give it to the home team?
We'll give it to Kiraz. We'll just give it to Kiraz.
Let's not be typical Warriors. Just maybe I think home field advantage, like just giving it to the home team as well. Sometimes if we're in such a pickle based on this game, most likely give it to the home team player based on that element. But yeah, great. Kiraz, I respect him too. I love what he does. Okay, let's get to right center. So this is Critter versus RTS. I mean, I love Critter, but man, RTS is now yeah, Critter all day for me. But
do it.
It has
unfortunately,
to be
Critter Critter is possibly the best right center in the competition right now. And like I can't even fight against that. It's got to be Critter. Critter, like defensively, is unreal. He's a big moment player. Again, like if you look at his numbers and stuff, he's nothing to desire really. Like if you look at what his run rate and that sort of stuff, like he's nothing outstanding. But he's just a moment player that will step up in the big moments, and it can be really, really tough to handle when he's on. You got to sway it away. Probably the best. Yeah, I'll say he's the best right side center in the game for sure.
Yeah, and I'm just getting like nightmares of Tamari throwing a tunnel ball to Critter, and he just jumps in and grabs, and he goes all the way. So he does strike fear into people, and in the big moments, he always steps up. So in the tight one here, Critter for me will find a way to get someone over the line or make a defensive play to stop something. He's just that good. Whereas we know RTS, his strength isn't in the centers and other parts, but I think Roger, hopefully, I think he'll do a good job on his side. So
a couple of key ones for Roger though too. Like just looking at the stats here now, like Roger has a better tackle efficiency than Critter. Like Critter's a better defender as we see by the eye test, but like one-on-one tackles sort of look. RTS actually the better defender by like a percentage, like a little percent. And then you look to the attacking end, like you got Critter that will average 110 meters per game. and then Roger, we all know he's upwards of the 170 mark. So, like, stats wise, Roger's still going really well at center, as I keep saying. And, but Critter, he's proven it on the big stage and he's a big moment player. That's what I keep saying. Like, by the eye test, Critter is the better center out of the two.
Yeah.
But Roger's not too far.
Yeah. No, Bronson Sherry versus Adam Pompey. I love Sherry's game. I love his attacking style. He's got a good gait on his run. When him and Fox were together far out, that was a deadly little combo. Yeah, I'd personally give it to Sherry, but yeah, I love Pomp still, but yeah, Sherry for me just got that damaging center vibe to him. And if he had if he's got, I'm not sure what it's like at the moment, but when he's with the Fox, they've got that nice flick on. They've got everything going for them. And those raids on early tackle counts, long distance tries. Yeah, he's quite scary when he's on form. Who have you got there, bro?
Yeah, I'd probably just edge Sherry. Coming back into the competition off a big layoff and that, but he's well back in form and he's looking really, really nice. His speed is probably the big thing, the difference out of the two. I think, both defensively, they're thereabouts. I think Pompey allows a lot on his outside where Sherry cuts down space really, really early. And then just look at the speed, the run rate of a Bronson Sherry. I think if Bronson Sherry was like, I would come to the Warriors if you would take me, I would take Bronson Sherry. So yeah, we'll put it like that. Too. So I'll go Bronson Sherry left center. Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm keen. I'm cool with that. Montoya versus Blake Wilson. Wilson's he's kind of a good player. He's the guy with the headgear, eh? He kind of came onto the scene last year. I'm not sure how he's been going personally, but I do think he's a decent player. But I'll probably go Montoya in this situation, unless you got other info on him.
Nah, Blake Wilson, bro, great talent. He's from the sunny coast up our ways, so cool. Like Kawana, Noosa and that. But good footwork, but smaller body, still getting used to contact. Does well in contact majority of the time. Defensively, he does fall off. Like comparatively out of the two, like I know a lot of people say that obviously Monty has a lot of defensive lapses, being like, at 64% tackle efficiency, but from memory, I'm pretty sure that Wilson's not any better defensively there. So just looking at the stats here, you got Blake Wilson, 54% tackle efficiency. So I'll take Marcelo Montoya. He's got a higher work rate, does better in contact, will work out his back end. And again, in time, Blake Wilson be a great winger. He's incredible for the talent he is now. But the experience side of things, I'd go Marcelo Montoya for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are. I think this team, this Bulldogs team, is even, and I give them another year, and a lot of the young guns coming through will be even better. So yeah, that's exciting. Okay, let's get into the halves, man. So it's obviously best two halves. Doesn't matter what position. You got Matt Burton and Sexton, and Chanel Harris-Tavita and Tamaide. I suppose naturally I'd go with Burton and Tamaide, although CHT as a 6, if you're going 6s, would be a good shout. But where are you sitting with the best two halves there?
I would probably say Tamaide Martin and Matt Burton, and just coming off, I'd say that I love Chanel Harris-Tavita. I think he's ultra talented and can grow into a similar player to a Matty Burton and that. But I think that Matt Burton is probably at a just a slightly bigger level than Chanel Harris-Tavita. And then out of the two halves here, to play that, that number 1 role, that number 7 role, I'd go to Tamaide Martin over Toby Sexton currently right now. The kicking game can come out of Birdo. Birdo will get us out of our back end with our combined 13 here, our combined team here. And Tamaide Martin will just pull the strings when it gets to attack. So I feel like that's the best way you can run there. I don't think Chanel's too far behind though. I think Chanel is a really, really good solid 6 and he's showing his form now. And this is only, first year back, bro, after the layoff. So he's been going really good developing wise.
Yeah, Chanel's great. And I'm hoping he has another great game. I'll just going quickly on talking about the kicking game. It's great to have Chanel there because he takes a lot of the pressure off of Tamaide.
Yep.
Tamaide's long kicking game, and I suppose they both don't have a super long kicking game like what Burton does, which is great for the doggies because, like, if you're stuck in your own end, you just get a Burton bomb, bro, and it just
Yeah.
resets everything. But I love
Pretty
the
much.
balance that Tamaide and CHT get when they're kicking, and that it keeps both sides accountable. And I think, like, I go back to our point that we're almost top in the league with yardage, average run meters. So I feel like the boys will still get them in dominant places on the field,
Yep.
and that the balance of them two, both kicking wise, setting those bonds up, different types of kicks. I think it's been really good to see and
Yep.
beneficial for both. Beneficial for both that not one's too dominant than the other, and yeah, I think that's really really cool.
100%,
Okay, let's
bro.
let's get
100%.
into these the props here. So best two props. You got Max King, Sam Hughes, AFB, and Mitch Barnett. Sharks, it's a tough battle there. I obviously want to put AFB in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now Max King, I know he's a hard worker. He's a pretty solid player. Mitchy B, we know he can play edge. He can play front row. He's been dominant for us. Sammy Hughes has been a solid toiler too, but I'm almost inclined to put a Max King over Mitchy B. What have you? What's your think? What's your thought process?
It's AFB and Mitch Barnett all day, brother. I think
Yeah,
Max King's incredible, right? And Max King's really, really good. But like I'm looking at like Mitch Barnett has been probably our biggest leader this season. He's been absolutely unreal, and I can't drop that out. Like if the Bulldogs had Mitch Barnett right now, I could just see that just helping that pack tenfold. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Max King does an amazing job to get through the long minutes. He's got a good offload on him, all that sort of stuff. But I think just the defensive intensity that Mitch Barnett plays with, I'd have him over Max King. And I think that's the closest contest we got out of the two because Adam Fanor-Blake just names himself in there because he's definitely one of the best props, like, you know, statistically. And when he's on his day, it's Adam Fanor-Blake all day. But yeah, I think that's the best combination. Mitch Barnett and Adam Fanor-Blake for our combined 17.
mean, bro. Yeah, no, absolutely respect that, and I respect King in that too, in terms of just their work rate and that type of thing. But I do love our boys that front row for me.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sorry, guys. I had a kebab. If you hear me burping, I've had a kebab, bro. I had a kebab and chips, man. I just can't keep the fluids coming up. So I'm mid sentence and I'm burping. All you can eat kebabs, bro. Shout out Camel Kebabs down in Tarapa. Love it, love it. Okay, left edge, man. This is Cody Capes versus Kiko. You gotta go Kiko there for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I know he hasn't had the same form. Can you put it down? Can you figure out what it is for when I'm watching Kiko and seeing him? He's not as dominant as what he was at Penrith. Was that because of the system at Penrith and the players around him, or has he dropped off as an individual player?
Well, he had a really good start to the season. Like I thought he was getting back to those areas of dominance and that. He had the Roosters game where he absolutely tore the Roosters apart on that edge. Like, you know, that was one of the most dominant games, I think, from an edge back row of the season, close to it, other than maybe a couple of Angus Triton games or even Dave Fafita on his form. But consistency-wise, I do agree. I think consistently for the Panthers, he was doing those like all the time. Like he was just seemed like a juggernaut on that side. I would just put it down to the system of the Panthers being in that system for such a long time. It's a new system coming into the Doggies here now, and he's been the one to kind of like pioneer that. So it's just taken a little bit more time before he gets around it. But he's had some injury problems again this season too, bro. So I think that might have taken a little bit off him as well. But at one point, he was up there like top 5 or whatever for the Daily M race to start the season. So form-wise, he was around there to start, but injuries started coming to his game and a couple of errors in that. But yeah, he's still an incredible edge back row, and I couldn't have Cody Capes over him. I don't think. Like I think he's incredible on his day.
Yeah, you got to go kick out there. Sorry, guys, I forgot to do the hooker. So let's go back. Wade Egan versus Mahomes. Read Mahomes.
Mahomes.
No. No. Now, I suppose I watched a bit of Reed's game, and like I mentioned before, his kicking game, he gets it, first receiver sometimes. He mixes it up a bit. Not as depth as what I think Wade is around the ruck, but I think his overall game for me, he might edge Wade.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a bit of a grub, but I got to respect what he does. What's your thoughts on that one, man?
Yeah, I think, as like a lot of people have pointed out, I think the grubby side of him, or his competitive side, has hampered from people seeing like the best sides of Reed Marnie. Like he's just an all and out competitor, and out of the two, like I think Wado's definitely more deceptive in the ruck and all that, but in all other areas, I think he's got a crisper pass, like a long pass. He's got a bullet on him if he wants to use it. He showed a kicking game under him as well that, like, even though the system that we run with probably doesn't allow Wade Egan to show a kicking game, or even Freddie Lussick when he comes into grade, doesn't really allow that, where I feel like the Doggies probably more allow it because they don't get a lot of roll on with their forwards. So that 40-20 look comes out with Reed Marnie and that out of dummy half a lot more. And then, like, defensively, he misses a lot of tackles, but there's a reason for it because he leads the line speed in the middle, if you notice it. He's the smallest body in the middle there, but he gets up really, really quickly to shut down on forwards, gets bumped off most of the time. But that's what you love to see out of your hooker as well. It could play probably for longer minutes, and I'd say it's more durable than Wade Egan. So I'd probably go the grub.
Grub 2.0.
Yeah, just because you know that you're going to get just him every week. He's going to compete every week. Not saying that Wade Egan doesn't compete every week, because he does. I'd just say that out of the two, probably I'd say Wade Egan can probably get shut down, like consistency wise. What a lot of what Reed does is like an old school hooker. He'll play it out of the half, but he also just grind it through the middle. So, loving Reed Marnie at the moment.
Yeah, and shout out to Jello on Instagram. Talking just quickly, said about Kiko looks fatigued. Sharks were smart to spot him, and D took the sting out of the left edge. Yeah, so that might be sending some traffic his way. Jello, if you are there, man, jump over onto Wise Up TV on YouTube if you want to jump in the comment section. But we're definitely going to get you on sometime, bro. But much love to you, brother. Okay, let's go into the right edge. So we got Marata versus Jamin Salmon. Was it called? What did old Ricky call him last year?
The gutless dog, wasn't it? We got a dog. Just because it says we got a dog, I would say, bro.
Just on Ricky, how long has he been at the Raiders? Do you give him a pass for what he's done at the Raiders? He's been there 10, 11 years.
He's been there for ages, bro.
He's been there for 10 years. He's got them to a grand final. I respect that, but he gets such a pass for everything that he does, man.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like valid, or do you think he's overrated, or what's the thought on it?
I think he's a good coach. I think he's a coach that can, on his day, he can get you up for a contest. And like we've seen it multiple times with the Raiders, is like they're a very highly emotional side. So when they're off their game, they're completely off their game. They'll get blown out. But when they're on their game, they'll grind out a contest, and they're so hard to handle at times because they will like do everything they can to win. Like you saw it even in the New South Wales Cup team. You see it through their systems and stuff. I think a lot of the past with Ricky Stewart does come from him being a past legend of the Raiders. You know what I mean? He was a halfback in that era where he was one of the best like kicking halfbacks like that we've probably seen like at points since maybe Joey, or even like, I'm trying to name people off the top of my head, like Nathan Cleary's got a great kicking game, but people forget that like Ricky Stewart was an incredible halfback back in the day. So I think a lot of that does come down to it. He's a past legend. He has done a lot for him where they're consistently in and around the 8, even though a lot of people would have thought this year they were probably going to get their wooden spoon. Like, look at them this year. They're still around abouts with like a horrible point differential, but they're still there. Like, they're just that sort of side. So I think he gets a pass for that a lot of the times. Yeah,
he gets a pass for kind of just and I suppose it's based on expectation from your club, right? Ultimately, your owners control if they're happy with getting 8th or 9th every year, but on average, that's happy. I mean, nothing you can do, and you got a stable system. Like, what you're getting from Ricky, but I'm just surprised that he gets such a pass for just not even really, getting somewhere. But it is what it is. We'll get back on topic anyway, but Salmon versus Newcourt, I think it's an easy one. It's Newcourt all day, is it?
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Salmon though, overall, is he just a kind of a defensive, hardworking back rower type? I mean, he's done well in come from the Penrith system. Will he
Yeah.
give? Will he give? I suppose. I think he's going up against Kate. Will he give him a bit of a hard night, or although that edge, will he stiffen that edge up defensively, or is he a bit of a liability?
He reminds me of like when we ran Kurt Capewell on an edge. Like, if we're going to run it like attacking wise, like he doesn't really offer, like his line running is not like unreal or anything like that. What he does bring is just effort, like tons and tons of effort. He's a utility type of player. He's one of those players that like, that if there's an injury in somewhere, you can just chuck him there. He'll do a job for the 80 minutes. And that's the reason why he's there currently right now is when Preston went down with injury, they've just chucked him there and he's just going to do a job for him throughout. You know what I mean? They have a lot of players like that. But again, like if we probably don't watch him, he'll probably hurt us in the long term. But again, like we're looking at his overall game, like just not the best line runner. He's decent with the ball playing. Like he's not the best like runner of the football either. Like he's not like incredible.
Yeah,
So just one of those sort of players, but he just works really, really hard in defense. And I think that's what they love about him at the Bulldogs.
yeah. No, again, goes to the value of this defensive structure: bend, don't, but not break.
Mm,
And if you're just going to keep stifling teams, and that's you're going to win, low scoring games most of the time if you're more patient and grind it out. So, again, it goes back to that the game model and style is going to be a good grinded out type game, I reckon.
yeah,
So, but you give that one to Morata for sure. Our lock.
100%.
So we got. I'm going to go Dylan Walker. Obviously, I don't believe in one bit in what Webby's done there. I'm going to go Bailey Hayward versus Dylan Walker.
Mm,
Um, I Dills for me, obviously based on experience, work rate. I thought he played a really good game last week. He looked healthy, looked really good. But I did watch a little bit of Bailey Hayward, and he looks pretty good as a young player. How young is he? Is he maybe 20s? Or he looks pretty and he looks
yeah,
onto it. He looked ball
I think
playing,
he's under
everything.
20s.
He looked like he was a very sharp footy player. Um,
Yeah, very smart.
but I'd go Walks in that situation. He looks, just based on all the extra stuff.
Yeah, I'll sweat away a Walks, bro. But again, like that's nothing to take away from Bailey Hayward because, like Brody being like a Doggies fan, me and Brody talk about like the Dogs all the time, and he loves Bailey Hayward, and like
Yeah.
the first day you saw him, a lot of people pointed out like his footy IQ is very very high.
Yeah.
Was a 7 majority coming up through the grade, played in the trials, I'm pretty sure as a 7 at one point there too. But then got pushed into the middle at one stage and he ended up looking really, really good there because he works really hard. But again, like his link man play is really, really solid. Like he's very much like a smaller Max Plaff or like a legit like a
Gotcha.
Dylan Walker. Very similar sort of player. So he's got a big future if he continues going upwards from here. And yeah, his footy IQ will get him somewhere. He's a really smart player.
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, they got some good young players coming through up there at the Bulldogs. And okay, we'll go hit this interchange. Best 4 players. They've got Kurt Mann, Josh Curran, Kurt Moran, Lipoi Hopoi, and then we got Freddie Luss, Dylan Walker, Jazz Tavanga, and Jackson Ford. For me, oh sorry, it'll be Tohu Harris. Sorry, so yeah, take that out. It's not Dylan Walker, it's Tohu Harris. I'll let you go first, bro. I think it's quite a tricky one, and I don't know enough about. Obviously, I love Josh Curran. I know his game. Kurt Mann a little bit, but what's your read on that on the best bench there?
Yeah, bro. I'll probably look at running. I think Josh Curran's got to be there for me out of everyone. Like, I just love like what Josh brings. Like, could play up through the middle now, as we've seen, or can play on an edge and do really well on an edge. And then fill in the rest of it with, I'd say Dylan. Oh, we don't have Dylan. It'd be Tohu Harris. I'd say Tohu would definitely have to be there. Jazzy Tavanga for sure. And then Kurt Mann. I really like Kurt Mann. I think like Kurt Mann can fill in multiple different positions. He can be a utility. I'm sure he could play a hooker at a pinch, but also like if there's anything to go wrong in multiple other different positions, he's my guy I can chuck anywhere on the field and I know he'll do a job. So, but yeah, Kurt Mann, Tohu Harris, Jazzy Tavanga, and Josh Curran. I think they're the players for me.
Yeah, that's a well balanced, pretty well balanced squad there. Look, I'm just actually adding it up. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think we must have got 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, well balanced squads, like from a talent perspective, and even where we're at in the season. It's going to be a really good matchup, but there it is, guys. There's your squad. Your Burton running shape for Sherry and Monty there. TMM Critter Carraz, that's nice with Marata and Kikau. Those two edges would be beautiful. Just damaging, destroying it, and especially in that system. I think those back rows would be beautiful. Barney AFB, Grub 2.0. Yeah, no, it's a good squad, man. There you go, guys. There's your combined 17. Just quickly before we come back, yes, please give us a like and subscribe. Minimum 50 likes, please. And if we can get more than that, that would be great as well. And everyone in from Instagram, please come over to Wires Up TV and join us to chat here. And yeah, Jello with the hands up. We'll get there, my man. Jello's going to go to Vegas. Yeah, you are going to go. You lucky punk. Yeah, with SCNZ, you and Sammy. No doubt. But yeah, much love to everyone on Instagram as well. Hey, man, let's get into the score prediction. Look, this is a massive game for me. This is kind of gives me that Raiders game last year, like just vibes-wise. I know it won't probably be a blowout to us, but I feel like this was like that game last year against the Raiders, the 300th game. We kind of really made a statement. I feel like we need to make a statement, to let the NRL know if we're legit contenders. Big task against a much improved Bulldogs. They've added Critter. They've made so many additions to the club. Josh Curran, we know the value he brings. A lot talked around, actually, some comments around. I think I heard, I think Mace was saying about how, what's the difference between Webby and Serraldo, and Josh Curran was saying there's not much difference. And that was part of the reason why he went over to the Doggies, because the systems were very much similar. So it adds that kind of consistency. And I suppose, yeah, like I said, it's a mirror match. It's like, it's almost the same identical type style, which should lead into my thought process being of a grinded out game. But ultimately come back to the halves. The forwards will put both teams in a good position, I feel. And it'll come back to obviously errors and who will make them. For me, it's the back five. Which back five will break? Which one will make the most inconsistency? I'm a bit worried about our boys over the last couple of weeks making those errors. But then ultimately, I think it comes back to Tamaida versus Burton, and who can dominate the field position game, but who can pull the pin at the right time, make the right play. But this is going to be one of those patient games, grinded out style. I just can feel that's going to be a real low scoring one. But what's your feel and vibe of the game, bro? How you feeling this is going to go?
Yeah, again, like I agree, it's going to be a grind. What I would say, or the way I see this game going, is we're going to get the ascendancy through the middle. We're going to get the ascendancy, especially on field position, because that's the best part of our game, and like they can't compete with us in that sort of, and like their forward pack is not anywhere near like capable enough to really put them in good field positions. That's why their kicking game is so big with the Bulldogs, you know what I mean? When you got Reed Marnie, you got Matty Burton, they kick themselves out of bad positions a lot. But what makes the Bulldogs so scary for us as a side is it's probably going to be a frustrating watch for a lot of fans out there, because they are going to defend their ass off on their line. And some of the times that we have struggled, obviously, is trying to attack teams' line and getting over the line, you know what I mean? But what I would say, a couple of stats going into this. So Tamati Martin, we're playing with Tamati Martin at 7. I've just put down those 4 games that we've had with him at 7. He's raised our points per game. He's at 30 points per game at the moment, like that, the Warriors team we have with Tamati Martin at 7. So that's attacking wise, we are such a better side there currently right now, as we see. Defensively, we are holding 17 points per game, which is really, really good to see. With that 4 game, of having like the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and that Broncos game there. And try assist wise, like he is just wheeling and dealing, bro. 2.5 try assists per game. Like that's upwards of their, like any number 7 in the competition right now. In 4 games, he had 10 try assists. Like, so he's in rare form at the moment. So I could really see us hopefully pointing out, like Webby knowing the system that they're going to run with, very similar to the Panthers game. I can see him really pointing certain parts of the field that Webby is going to really attack, and working with Critter. I'm sure that those tendencies are brought out earlier on. Critter really wanting to defend deep and hard, like early and like inside and hard. He's going to really counteract that and really play on that a little bit. So I'm thinking around that 24-18 mark. I think it's going to be like 1-12 for sure. I think they're going to frustrate us for a lot, but I'm trusting in that combination of Tamani Martin and Chanel Harris-Davida that has an uptick in our offense to really carry us home, to really find points when we need it. But we just can't take a break with the Dogs, and we just got to play for a full 80 minutes, and that's the biggest thing. And as you said, kicking game's a big one. No errors out of our back end. But I'm sure the boys can get it done. 24-18 is really where I'm seeing it currently right now. As I keep saying, we got the advantage in run meters. We got the advantage of holding, like we can get into field position 100%. That's why we don't need, like we don't have a 40-20 kicking game. We don't have any sort of thing like that because the boys, like our system gets us into amazing field position anyway. Yep. What we need to do is finish and capitalize on all our opportunities that we get because the Doggies will give us so many limited opportunities and we just got to capitalize on at least one or two of those. So it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's those little one or two that you get. You got to make the most of them. So I think it's going to be a great battle. What did you have? 24 or something? What was it?
24-18. Very similar to the Panthers game. I really feel it's going to go very, very similar to the Panthers game.
Yeah, they'll get their moments, no doubt, and I think it comes back to discipline, penalties, all the little things as well. But I just feel this is a great game for our forward pack as well. It's a great game to show we're top dogs. Like you said, on paper and by the looks of it, we're bigger and stronger than them. They'll I think they're motor and they'll go for the whole game. I love what I saw from them against, I think it was a Storm a couple of weeks back, where they just didn't give up. They just didn't quit. And even though they lost that game, they just didn't die. So you got to be on all game pretty much. If we want to make a statement, for me, that this is the right, and it's a good balanced squad. I think we more than matched them as well in terms of the bench, the energy guys, the workers. We've got just as many workers in that team as they do. With a bit more X factor in terms of AFB, all those guys. So, but man, I'm leaning probably 20-18, something like that.
I like that.
I do believe 24 is I always think 24 is the magic number.
It is.
So I should probably say 24. There is an argument for me that this might go the Bulldogs as well. That if it's super tight, a drop goal, a Burton drop goal, or just the home crowd getting them home, just that type of vibe. I just feel that it may come down to a few little things and they just may get over the line. Critter magic, all of those types of things. So, but yeah, and again, just quickly on the referee, who is the referee for tonight? Chrissy Butler. Oh. I just don't like this guy personally. I don't. Yeah. Anyway,
there's not a lot of referees we kind of do like my blood. What I will say is the cool stat running for the Bulldogs' favor too. I don't think they've lost a home game this season either. So because the Doggies fans turn out at the moment, like as soon as the Doggies go well, they'll go 30K wherever they go. They actually do really well at a core. Like they really fill out the seats there, which is crazy because it's like a 80,000 stadium that they fill out as best they can. Like the Parramatta Eels versus Doggies game, they nearly filled out a core stadium for that game. It was incredible to watch. But yeah, they don't lose at home. So they're going to be definitely up for this game.
Yeah, they'll be up.
But as I keep saying, for going on these two teams in the paper and stuff like that, and just seeing how we've been playing with that 7 and 6 now that's solidified as Tamati Martin's at 7 and our 6 is going just a second foil, and just seeing the track records of what we have. The only thing that will hamper us is just giving up those odd tries and letting off pressure. Everything else is we've got going in our favor. We know we can get down the end of the field easily. We know that we can just keep peppering them on their line. They do have penalties in them. They have errors in them. But the one thing the Doggies don't do is give up. And unfortunately, our resilience hasn't been there for a lot of this season. And that's the two areas of this game here. So whether the doggies can just hold in all the way and just break our hearts at the end, or do we become the side now that shows resilience for the first time of the season and carry that out for the rest of the season? So that's a big thing I'm watching in this game, because I know the dogs will stand on their line, and hopefully the boys don't get frustrated, because it's a long game.
It's play the long game. And just don't let Reed Mahoney get into your head.
Yeah.
I think Murata might slip one on his chin. I feel like there's a sin bin coming. I got a bad feeling, but now hopefully we really just stick to our systems, and I think we should get home, but be a tight one.
It'll be tight.
Yeah. Okay, my man. Anything else, man, that we need to cover? I think we covered all the bases.
Pretty much everything. As I said, we touched on a couple of points there with Tamate Martin and that. Hopefully SJ is doing well and resting up as best as he can. And hopefully our cup team gets a nice win over the weekend. As I said, very strong squad, and going up against a doggy squad that's notoriously had a really good system all the way through, and they've got a couple of really good players. So if that's being played on Foxtel or wherever it is that you guys can watch it, I would recommend to watch that game, because that's going to be a very, very, it's on before our game. So if you guys are able in New Zealand, not too sure how it goes in New Zealand, do you have Sky Sports? Do they play New South Wales Cups games on there?
They do play some. They do play some.
So it should play that. Guys, tune into that game, because it's going to be a really good showing of a lot of our good juniors in that, but also you get to see some of the doggies' big juniors. Joash Papali'i is incredible. We remember Hayes Perham used to play for the Warriors back in the day, was in our junior base. Eli Clark's got talent. Just across the park, there's a lot of big talent there in both sides here. Gal Donga, a really good talent there for the doggies as well. So guys, tune into that New South Wales Cup team as well, because they've been going on the roll. They're third position at the moment on the ladder from memory. So massive effort from those boys.
Yeah, cool, man. And we'll be here on Saturday, guys, as well for watch along. I think Ash, you got a bit of a birthday party to attend.
Yep. So I won't be there, my brother. I'm sorry.
All good. No. Hey, enjoy the party, man. Hopefully they got the Warriors on wherever you're at, or you'll have the phone in the corner doing the old pleasantries, but really you're just, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Just gonna check the score here.
I'm gonna be also with I'm pretty sure Vani and all that's gonna be with us. So we've got a family gathering too. So I'll be in the corner going Vani. So the Warriors
recruiting, right?
side.
Yeah. I love it. When you see a drop, Vania Polite has joined the New Zealand Warriors. You're like, oh, that was Ash, bro. That was Ash.
Don't get your hopes up, guys.
Yeah. But you guys join us for watch along and full credit as well on Saturday, 5 p.m. We'll be here. But thanks again, my man Ash. It's a pleasure as always. Anytime. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Just saw Richard say, hope you're calm this week. No matter even if we get blown out, I'm just gonna chill. I won't go crazy. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm going to be as calm as I possibly can. But enjoy, guys, the weekend. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your week. I might do a little preview as well. Watch out for that. Oh, actually, Down Under's tomorrow night. Massive show, actually. It would be good to watch this one. You two battling it off, you and Brody. Are you going to do a little bit of a Warriors? Obviously, you'll do a Warriors Bulldogs preview.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure, man. We're going to go back and forth. I'll throw up the stats that I've got tonight. So I hope you guys don't take that. I'm going to throw exactly the same stats at Brody and see what he comes back at me with. But it's going to be great, bro. He's definitely ready to fire on our Warriors. And I got to remind him, we are a Warriors channel first. So he better stay in his corner. No. So get excited, guys. Down Unders tomorrow night. It's going to be a massive show, and that, got a couple of new segments that we're going to bring up too. So I hope you guys are excited for that too. Yeah,
come and check that guys out. Great to have, I was thinking to have Brody on tonight, but I thought, leave it for Wednesday night. Get an extra bit of dose of all you can Warriors with Bulldogs. So guys, I know all our Wild fans in the chat, jump in over there and see what Brody's reaction to. He'll probably do a combined 17, and he'll try get all 16. He'll try get 16 Bulldogs in there. You guys should try it again and see what he tries and does. But that's cool, man. And guys, check that out. 7:30, bro, New Zealand time. 5:30 Aussie time.
5:30. Yep, 5:30. Yep.
Okay, man. Awesome, man. And thanks again, guys. Before you leave, hit that like and subscribe, and everyone on Instagram, thank you as well. If you want to come over next time to Wires Up TV. on YouTube and come and join the chat over here. But it's great to have you guys here as well. But anyway, guys, take care, stay safe, up the wires.
Up the wires, baby.